Taiwan's foreign ministry said that Cambodia deported nearly 190 people, many believed to be Taiwanese, to China after arrest links to telecom fraud. The group includes over 180 suspects from Taiwan, detained in recent raids on fraud centres. Taiwan accused Cambodia of acting under Chinese pressure, saying it was denied a full deportee list and details on how many there were who were Taiwanese nationals. The move coincides with Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Southeast Asia, with Cambodia among his stops. Phnom Penh has close ties with China and does not recognise Taiwan diplomatically, complicating Taipei's efforts to intervene. Here is what Taiwan Foreign Ministry spokesperson Hsao Kwang-hui told reporters, that the government was still trying to ascertain exactly how many Taiwanese had been deported to China from Cambodia on fraud charges. Let's listen in.
有关本案确切涉案国人的人数资讯，目前住处持续和检方交涉中，政府也将透过两岸机制来了解。同时，外交部要再次呼吁国人，切勿心存侥幸，赴海外从事包括电信诈骗在内的不法行为，以免触犯当地法律，不仅断送个人前途，也损害国家形象。
Taiwan has protested similar deportations before from countries like Kenya and Spain, and reiterated that its citizens should be sent home for prosecution, not to China, which considers Taiwan a breakaway province. Well, joining us to discuss these developments is Andrew K.P. Leung, an independent China strategist joining us from Hong Kong. Andrew, thank you very much for joining us today. I want to look at these deportations. How significant is it, given that they're going to China amid the tensions with Taiwan?
Well, I think that in the light of very close relationship, economically, politically, geopolitically, between Cambodia and China, this deportation is somewhat to be expected as a gift of Cambodia in honor of President Xi's visit. I think the presidency's visit is trying to send a clear message to the world, whereby the originator of a free trade and rule-based world order, i.e. the United States, is now destroying it, even though these rules and the trading system has been accepted by all over the world. And the United States is destroying it, whereas China, which is blackened and vilified as a challenger to this system, is now its biggest defender. And of course, apart from the narrative, there are very close relationship economically and of course geopolitically between Cambodia and China, and particularly in the connections with the Belt and Road Initiative. Now, as far as these deportees are concerned, there are recently a number of huge scam operations in the Cambodian border with China, and then skimming off victims all over China and even in Hong Kong. And a lot of people have been deported whereas these scam rings have been smashed by countries in Cambodia and other neighboring countries. Now, I don't know whether these Taiwanese are involved in these cases, but even if they are not, obviously they are under certain criminal investigations, and as I said, it's no surprise that they are now being rounded up and deported as a kind of signal, signifying the close relationship between Cambodia and China.
Yes, Andrew, I want to go on now to President Xi's visit. Of course, we detailed what was discussed with Vietnam and what was agreed with. He's now heading to Malaysia and then to Cambodia, of course, involved in this arrest and deportation of potential Taiwanese nationals. What can we expect from these meetings with Malaysian officials and Cambodian officials?
I think that no country would just like to have rhetoric and narratives And so the visits must translate into something very concrete to the host countries. For example, in Vietnam, something like 45 business deals have been signed, translated into concrete projects like railway links, commodities and trading, liberalization, and cooperating projects, specific cooperation projects in a host of different fields. And the same could apply to Cambodia. Because I think that what President Xi wants to bring is not just the rhetoric. Everybody understands what the rhetoric is all about, but I think it's concrete economic benefits arising from these closer links to compensate for the kind of huge impact on these developing countries. For example, Cambodia is suffering one of the huge tariffs apart from China's, those imposed on China, apart from the huge tariffs on China. And then amongst the rest, Cambodia is suffering one of the highest tariff rates, something like 49%. And that would almost decimate Cambodia's export. And of course, Cambodia and other countries, they all want to enter into some sort of a negotiation. But what Trump wants to do is really put all these trading partners into a disadvantage, into a position of being a supplicant, begging for mercy, as it were, so as to achieve the highest benefits for the United States. And then doing these negotiations not multilaterally, but bilaterally. So bilateral negotiations would give the United States as the largest economy in the world and a very powerful country a distinct advantage. But for some of these poor developing countries and poorer countries, they have to, on the one hand, they've got to defend their own sovereignty. They've got to find a way out, and they just can't be put under the thumb of Trump's tariffs sledgehammer. So they've got to develop alternatives, hedging their bets, as it were. At least finding other channels to grow the economy, to protect the livelihood of their people.
Andrew KP Leung, thank you ever so much for joining us as Xi continues